Hello. Hello and good evening, guys. It's a Monday. It's 8 o'clock. It's time for the usual The Late Smoke with Mireille. And this is episode 53. And yeah, I've seen already a bunch of people in the chat. I guess the weather is not that bad. So you're not outside. You're actually here with me and ready to listen and watch what I'm talking about and what I'm discussing tonight. It's so nice. So how is everyone? How was the week so far for you? Hey Epicurean, hey Sotiris. I've already started smoking because I'm smoking slightly bigger cigar than Robusto than the usual format. I'm just looking if everything else is around me what I need. Yep. Um, Apologies again for the background noise. As you know, it's quite cold outside, so I'm in my lounge. The purification is on, and that's why there's a constant sound, which is not that bad at the moment. But I guess if you get quite smoky, it will be a little bit higher. But yeah, I hope you didn't pick up all that stuff from the mic. Should be fairly quiet, but just in case, apologies. And yeah, tonight, as usual, we're gonna talk about some news. I will rant a little bit, not that much as the last time, but there will be still ranting section. And yeah, then I'm gonna show you a few very very boutique and small brands. So in the second part of the show, we're basically talking about some stuff from my library, from my selection. Today will be only small and boutique brands. We are in the in the letter I. We'll go to J, and there's not many big and well-known brands there. So, but yeah, that will be towards the end of the show. Before that, what I'm smoking uh, a cigar which I don't remember if I smoked it before. This is Brick House Maduro. I smoke lots of Brick House, smoke Brick House Connecticut, all the different variations, the Oktoberfest, Bricktoberfest, or I don't know what they were calling it. But I don't think I smoked the Maduro version, which actually doesn't look that dark compared to the natural, the standard one. They look pretty much identical. The difference here in the Maduro version, we have Brazilian Arapiaca wrapper, very light for that kind of wrapper. It's very toothy. I mean, it's like a skin of some animal. It's a very lots of tooths, lots of points of dots and sandpaper. I think. Um, yeah, this is the Toro size, 6x52. The cigar is made by Jason Yuan, of course, in the Nicaraguan factory in Pensa. So far, it's not bad cigar. I mean, you can see it's not super complex cigar, but so far construction is very good. I mean, today I smoked two very awful cigars on construction, and this one pretty much on point. I just dropped the first stash because it was feeling wonky, and I don't want to drop it on myself. Draw is good. It's a little bit too peppery than my liking, but yeah, I think overall it's a very very good cigar, especially for the purpose I have it tonight and talking and not thinking that much about the cigar, not concentrating. Not concentrating. I start with the lapses already. Anyway, you've seen already. I yawn. Of course, it's a typical Monday. I need to yawn. No idea why. Of course. As a pairing tonight, I have Kokiko Kobicha, which is a Japanese tea. Very very light. It's one of those teas where you can't brew for longer. So on this tea, brewing time is about 1.5-2 minutes only, on about 80 degrees water. So it's just top it up in the water and stop it. You don't want to over roast it because you lose all the ferric, all the light flavors and aromas. That's my combination. quite kind of sweet and peppery cigar with sweet and very light tea. Yeah, the cigar is perfect combustion. Burning, smoke, everything for a very, very budget cigar. This is one of the budget, probably some people call them entry level cigars or beginners friendly cigars or kind of stuff. I would probably wouldn't use that kind of epithets. It's for me, it's more of a all-rounded cigar for all kind of people. If you don't want to spend crazy amount of money on the cigars, Brick House is usually one of the cigars you can go to. Again, don't expect the best cigar in the world, but again, cigar budget friendly, not crazy expensive. And there we go. Right. I've seen a bunch of people already drop off the live. Maybe they don't like me. They don't like my hat. I don't know. I'm joking. I'm ready to start with the news section and talk about what's happening in the world of cigars. The first thing I want to start, of course, it's releases. There's some releases I wanna mention. One of them is brand new sample from CEO Outpost Sample Volume 2. Usually I don't bother with samples and stuff, but this one I want to mention because one of the cigars in the sample is a cigar called CEO Fuma and Corda. And Fuma and Corda, it's one of those first releases of the Amazon Basin, where the Amazon Basin didn't get that success yet. It was just a brand new release. Everyone's wondering what the fuck is that? No cigar band, with just a tobacco rope or tobacco leaf rolled like a cord around the cigar. And they were, as I always mentioned at the beginning, there were a few different releases. So we have the Amazon Basin, we have the Orellana and Fuma and Corda. And I don't think there were any other releases of the Fuma and Corda, which is unfortunately, it was a good cigar. It was unique. It was, innovation was on point there. And now CEO decided to release a sample with this cigar. So for me, even if you don't like the other cigars, it's worth to get this sample only because of this cigar. It was super interesting cigar. So the rest of the sample, I can mention it. CEO Fasa Noche Toro, CEO Italia, CEO Brasilia, CEO Zucalo, and Fuma and Corda. I'm not massive fan of the Brasilia. It's alright cigar. Again, it's nothing crazy. The Fasa Noche is an interesting one. That was one of the recent releases. I think I smoked it last year on a blind taste, or maybe this year. I rated quite high. Italia, it's one of those which I would not bother. Zegalo was a very old release. I still believe I have a few left from the Zegalo. I haven't smoked it in probably 10 years. But the jewel in the crown in this sample, this is the Fuma Noche, the Fuma and Corda. Really nice cigar. And if you see this sample, just buy it. Again, worth buying it just because of the cigar. It's a US price of $50. Again, you get 5 cigars. 4 of them are okay, $6, $7, $8, $9 cigars, and the last one came same thing for like $10, $11, and it's a cigar which worth that money. And I'm so happy they venture into those old releases. And even the Fuma and Corda have the same wrapper as mine, as the cigar I'm smoking tonight, Brazilian Arapiaca. Hey Anatoly. So there we go. Buy them when you see them. It's a decent one. The next one I want to mention, the next release I want to talk about, this is a release from Habanos, another Cuban release. Again, it's this time of the season where everyone starts releasing lots of cigars. This time, Habanos announced a release of another regional edition, and this time is a regional edition of Países Bajos or Netherlands. And this time will be Juan Lopez Finus. This will be the name on the cigar. The size is very, very typical, old school, classical Panatella or 6x38. Or if you look at the books, the factory name is Legito number 2, which basically has been one of the super classic iconic Cuibas back in the time. Cuiba Coronas Especiales. Also, Monte Cristo have super classic Monte Cristo Especial number 2. And these are the only two current production from this size. I don't think it's a size which have lots of recognition nowadays. I mean, it's a slim Lancero, basically shorter Lancero, 6-inch Lancero with a nice pigtail. I love the size. For me, it's perfect if you want to enjoy Lancero, but you don't have this much time. I guess 6x38 probably will give you an hour and something smoke. And yeah, slim, elegant. But and during the past, there were a few iconic releases from Cuba in this size. I mean, original editions. The Punch Mantua, which was probably one of the most hyped and rated releases from Cuba originals. That was 5 years ago. Of course, Medalla de Oro Especial. And there's a bunch of other originals. But yeah, the cigar itself, it will be priced around 23 euro. For me, it's still a lot of money. I mean, 20 euro for a cigar, but European price, Cuban price, I think is a very well priced cigar. That's why I want to mention it. Not often you see Habanos releases for 20 odd euro, especially originals or something like that. But seems like I think Habanos have the last few releases, which are like Lancero sizes, that kind of short Lanceros, Panatelos, they don't price them super high. So I'm so happy with that. I mean, I've discussed the one of the previous releases for Portugal, Samuel Rey, which was a typical Lancero, and I think release price was around 25, 26 euro, which is really good. Excuse me. And yeah, that's why I want to mention this release. It's not a rant against. It's actually, I'm very happy they released something like that. Very decent price. So I don't plan to travel anytime soon to Netherlands, Belgium, or Luxembourg. But who knows? I reckon all the people out there will probably buy them all before they've been released massively everywhere. I think they mentioned something like 4,000 boxes, 25 count in total in a box. We still made it up to 100,000 cigars, so I think it's one of the big releases as a number of cigars. I mean, 100,000 cigars from Cuba to separate for the original edition. It's good. Right. The chat is very quiet today. As I said, there's a bunch of people who probably left. They don't want to look at me. They just jump in the show and that's it. Right. The next one, it's a very, very interesting news. Earlier this week, or actually last week, probably one of the most controversial online retail companies and online websites in the US, Cigar Page, announced they are building and planning to open a retail shop, which, according to them and their information, will be the biggest retail shop in the world. They mentioned something like 60 square foot, which, if I remember right, I think a football soccer pitch was something. The Premier League pitches, football pitches, they're probably around 75,000 feet. So this is almost the size of a football pitch, which is ridiculously massive. I mean, I'm just curious. Maybe one day I'll go to Pennsylvania where the shop will open, and we'll be able to visit it. So if anyone out there in Pennsylvania one day visited, just let me know. I'm very curious to see the feedback. I said it's a quite a controversial website because there's a lots of companies are not very happy that cigar page the way they sell, they do the promos and the offers. They literally sell lots of cigars without any much lots of margin, no MSRP prices, and even under MSRP they just rely on the volume. And because sometimes they get cigars on a good deals from the producers, they're able to ship them on the very low prices. They're well known for the very good prices of Oliva cigars. Oliva actually own, I think, some information says 50% of the website. Other people says completely fully on everything. Knowing Oliva, they don't own stuff on half. They usually start buying percentage or something, and they end up buying everything. It was a great example with the Le Fin Lam, the French manufacturers of the knives and the cutters. Yeah, it's as Epicurian says, he's probably more familiar with exactly all the accusations. They get in trouble selling brands that they don't have a retail agreement in place. So I think they ended buying cigars and stuff from other places and then resell them on their place. But again, Oliva is behind this company. Oliva does not lack of finance. They can do whatever they want. So now when they built and opened the humidor, I think this probably will be quite a bigger trouble for the local places there, because I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say 100%, but 99%. I'm sure that will be the cheapest cigar shop, probably one of the cheapest cigar shops in America. I mean, Pennsylvania is one of the states without tobacco tax, and I don't think there will be much more shops anywhere in America selling cheaper than those guys. And from the information they release publicly, the shop will have over 200 seats. The humidor will contain something like 750,000 cigars, which, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, I think some of the biggest and the largest humidors I've seen. I haven't counted cigars, but I can roughly see what kind of count they have. I mean, I don't think I've seen humidor bigger than 50,000-60,000 cigars, so I can't even imagine what would be almost 1,000,000 cigars in a humidor. This is ridiculous. So, interesting news. It's always good to see when people do that kind of openings and everything. So yeah, Epicurean mentioned a few other comments. It's a concern when the perceived luxury brands are sold below the MSRP. I mean, I don't see a problem in that. If you can sell below MSRP and you're still happy to make money somehow, why not? You know, I've always have this idea in my head one day. I mean, I'm not anywhere in positions to do that, but I always have an idea. You know, some people ask me why you don't venture into open your own cigar shop, retail, online, and I always says, I don't know, I'm not interested. But if one day I get into that business, when I'm old, maybe I want to have a retail shop where I'm gonna buying all kind of cigars from auctions, vintage and rare stuff, and sell them in the shops. People can smoke them, but I'm not selling them on to making huge amount of money. I'll basically selling them whatever it costs me, with about, I don't know, 5% margin, 10% margin, just to keep having some margin. And sometimes I can find some cigars on a very good price, and I know some people selling those cigars like 1,000 times more expensive, and people don't smoke them. But I want to have a retail boutique shop where specialized in only in vintage stuff. So, and I guess if I do that, there will be not much people which will, I mean, lots of people won't be happy because they can't sell their vintage stuff for quadruple or whatever price they want. But again, this is again, it's something I have for an idea. I don't know, been years since I have this kind of idea. I'm not even planning to start anything. We're just mentioning, so that's why I get the point of the cigar page. So yeah, this is basically the argument in the cigar page. I know lots of people from abroad buying from them. So many times in some of the social media groups, in the private chats and stuff, people like buying stuff from them. They're mentioning specific links to a specific deals, bunch of cigars and bundles of cigars. So, but I guess if you wanna spend your money, nobody should be able to tell you where to spend your money. You want to spend them on this website, spend them on this website. I mean, if I always says it's when you have a competition, it's actually very healthy for the whole industry. Yeah, some people won't be happy; they won't make their margin. But on the other side, as a consumer, I'm a consumer. I want to get the best deal, and the cheaper I can get the deal, the better for me. So yeah, the competition make the market healthy, not for the competitors, but for the consumers. But we'll see. It will be an interesting to see when they open it. I mean, there will be lots of alcohol, beers on top, and all kind of stuff. So it will be very, very, um, very interesting. I think close to this shop will be the Cigars International shop, which is another massive mega store. So basically, Pennsylvania will be one of the I don't know, the meccas for the cigar retailers. And if you want to do a cigar shopping, you just go to Pennsylvania. Probably there will be not better places to go and buy cigars. Okay, this cigar starts burning a little bit wonky. Not much. It's a little bit bitter. I don't know if I keep smoking too fast. Not ideal. Okay, we'll leave a few minutes. Maybe I'll need to relight after that. Okay, the next news is actually very fun. I literally when I read that news, I read it a few times. I have a laugh. So it's okay. It might sound a little bit political. It's not political, trust me. The news is that the former North Korean ambassador in Cuba, who is not anymore, he revealed and uncovered a tobacco smuggling ring from Cuba to North Korea. So I'll give you a brief idea with the story. So the gentleman, I mean, I don't remember his name. I don't want to even look for his name, but the gentleman who was appointed as ambassador in Cuba from North Korea, who escaped to South Korea now. So he's one of the highest ranking in the government North Koreans who just immigrate. I don't know what you can call it. They escaped to South Korea. He's not a North Korean anymore, so it's an asylum seeker, probably. I don't know what you call them. He used to be the brand ambassador not brand ambassador. He used to be the ambassador in Cuba, and North Korea have a long time relations with Cuba. They don't have any problem because North Korea don't have an ambassadors in many countries. But Cuba is one of those countries where they always been in good relations. Ex-communist countries. I mean, they're still communist countries. Close relations. So this guy basically revealed that for many years, um, when he was in charge, he used to, him and all his colleagues, all the people who was working in the embassy, basically, they were buying boxes with cigars from Cuba. They were paying, he mentioned something like $50 for a box of cigar. I mean, I don't know what kind of cigars you can buy for $50. Even back in the time, $50, I don't know, it must be some very cheap shitty cigars or fake cigars. But let's say maybe they buy real cigars. They were selling them for over $1,000 in the North Korean high-end elite, which is ridiculous. And this, he says, it's been done many times. It's basically like um, smuggling ring. Did that for decades. They pack the cigars as a diplomatic luggage, because diplomatic luggage and gifts, they're not open and checked on the customs. They're not stopped. They're not, nobody checking in what you moving, what you transits, what's in the package. And they were selling them for lots of money. So they mentioned they're selling them mostly in North Korea, but also they were selling them in other countries. I'm not sure how many other countries. Maybe some of the other countries which are still friends with North Korea. I doubt he will sell them in most of the European countries or anything. But maybe he met any other diplomats on some of the assemblies or whatever, and he was selling them Cuban cigars, which is super interesting. I mean, they mentioned some countries in Africa, some countries in Southeast Asia, but who knows? So this guy was not only ambassador, he was like a director of all the Latin America relations and everything. So very well connected guy, who was the main smuggler of Cuban cigars in North Korea. That's funny. I mean, you know, all those pictures we've seen with the Kim Chen and, you know, all the dictators in North Korea. I've never seen the guy smoking cigar. I'll be surprised if you don't. He looks like, to me, he looks like a guy, like a kid in a candy shop who can afford literally getting everything he can think and get away with it. So I'll be surprised if he doesn't smoke. But yeah, that was a fun times for this guy. He make a lot of money. He was basically saying that his salary in Cuba wasn't enough. Obviously, North Korea doesn't pay good salary, and because of this income, he managed to live a good life and all kind of stuff. So, yeah, fun news. Right. I'm moving on to the last piece of the news section tonight, and this is we'll go to the tobacco legislations and bans. Belgium, who I always says is the most ridiculous country related to cigar smoking nowadays. Actually, the people, the shops, retailers, all the people involved in the tobacco or the cigar industry, they decide to start a petition which can stop this ban for the smoking and all kind of relations to that. They say they need 25,000 signatures, which is actually a very low number. I mean, considering countries like UK, I think in UK you need like 400,000 for something like that. Belgium need 25,000 to start the procedure to stop it. I want to be optimistic to think that can help, but I don't think any of those petitions anywhere around the world can do anything against the government. If the government decide one thing, it's very hard to overturn it. Maybe with the court, like places like US, where the court have some of the Supreme Court or whatever federal court, it can actually stop some stuff. Most of the other countries like Belgium, UK, whatever, once the government decide, no one can stop it. But it's good actually to see country where people are not happy with those legislations, because everywhere when you read about the legislation or someone talking about it, tobacco ban, there were even talks now in France to add the generational ban I read earlier. When they're talking about everyone says, oh, the people, the electorate, the people who elect the government, they don't want people to smoke. Which I don't know. In every country I visit, maybe Singapore was one exception. People are smoking everywhere. I mean, there's a lots of people still smoking, vaping, even weed and stuff like that. So I haven't seen lots of countries. I would say, I've been to probably about 50 countries around the world, which is a quarter of all the countries in the world. Maybe, okay, slightly less than a quarter, but decent amount of places I've been. People are still smoking. There's a big percentage of people who smoke cigarettes, of course, vapes. Small percentage smoke cigars and weed, but every government is just. I mean, I'll probably repeat myself for another, I don't know, 20th time already, but it shouldn't be the government who decide can we smoke or not smoke. And yeah, I know government is elected by the people, but I don't think every decision made from the government is people are happy with it. And yeah, it's a complicated conversation. I don't want to go into the politics. I don't like to talk about politics, but maybe more people should start those kind of petitions in most of the countries and see what's going to happen. Right. That was the last piece of news for today. Before we move into the section with some boutique and interesting cigars. So how are you guys? Is any of you smoking? Any of you drinking anything? Have you smoked any fantastic, phenomenal, utter shit cigar in the last days, in the last week? Anything you should recommend me? Anything you should ask me to avoid? It's the winter season. What you what you prefer about smokes in the winter? Wherever you are, I mean, some places the winter it doesn't. It's not much different than the summer, but most of the northern hemisphere, the winter is winter and it's cold, and most of the people smoke outside. They can't smoke 2 hour smokes. They're not all the people are fortunate enough to have lounges around them or places where they can smoke. So yeah, let me know what's your go-to cigar in the autumn evenings, winter days, and stuff like that. And yeah, now we're gonna move on to the section with the cigars from my vault. Before that, I already mentioned, guys, it's already fully official now everywhere. I will start representing Freud as a global brand ambassador. I will look after all their presence on the market, in the different markets. If any of you wants to try them, curious where to smoke them, which country, let me know. I'll try to give you a clue. We are not in lots of countries at the moment, but I think we can grow. We are actually in more Asian countries than European, which is quite unusual. But yeah, and I'm gonna start doing tours in different countries, in different places. We'll start with Germany this year, and of course UK. Haven't planned yet properly for the next year, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm very very excited. Freud is a company I think I mentioned to you before when I was talking about the cigars from Freud. As a company, very young company, they start 4 years ago as a boutique company. A bunch of investors wants to create additional product to their luxurious portfolio. They start Freud. Freud is made in Dominican Republic. We're using two different factories and two different blenders, Ventura and Eladio Diaz. Both of them are very very different than what they do and how they do it. I think the products we have are very unique. Um, some of the Freud cigars, of course, are on the high end pricings. I always criticize people which are releasing that kind of cigars. We'll see with Freud again. It's not my decision. Again, I just joined the company, so I will see what's the decision behind releasing that kind of cigars. But um, yeah, the core idea, the core products of the Freud, they will be still relatively well priced. I think around the world, Alter Ego and Super Ego, which are the core lines, still reasonable cigars, can be afforded from everyone. Some of the limited editions are quite expensive, but hopefully that will change in the future. Right, this cigar is off now. As I mentioned, sometimes when you smoke a cigar, maybe on purpose, maybe no, you start puffing faster, quicker, the cigar becomes a little bit bitter. So it happened to everyone, especially when you're doing something, when you're working and you have the cigar in your mouth as a company. What I always advise is make a few puffs, purge the cigar a few times, and wait until the cigar stops burning. And now relight it again. So hopefully that can fix all the problems with the bitterness and the issue. So well, not all the time. This is the problem is the faster smoking, but most of the time this is the issue. The quicker smoking make the cigar a little bit bitter. Okay, the first puff is not bitter. I think for the moment the issue is sorted. We'll see how it's going to carry on. Right, let's start with the brands I have for you tonight. The first one, it's a cigar which actually I was planning to smoke in the last few days, but I realized this is my very last cigar from this brand. I don't have any more cigars from this brand, and that's why I decided to delay the smoke for the few days. For a few days, maybe I'll do a review even on that one, because it's a very interesting brand. I haven't seen lots of reviews on it, and I want to give my take. Again, it's my only last cigar, my last one, which I'm usually okay with the brand. I've smoked a bunch of them. They're not bad cigars. And what I have in my hand, this is a cigar called Indian Motorcycle. So Indian Motorcycle, very very interesting brand with a very interesting history. So on the band it says Indian Motorcycle 1901 ultra premium cigar made in Dominican Republic. So this is a collaboration actually between Indian motorcycles, which are quite old motorcycles. I'm not a motorcycle guy myself, but those are actually quite cool motorcycles, you know. And obviously they start making motorcycles in 1901. The company actually itself, the cigar company, many years ago, it wasn't called Indian Motorcycle Cigars. It was called Indian Cigars. So Indian Cigars was a company started from two people. Let's see if any of you know who are the people who started the Indian cigar company. There are two guys. One of them is in charge now, the head of obviously the owner of the Indian Motorcycle. The other guy actually have his own company of cigars. I'll give you 1 minute if you can put. I mean, probably some of you will Google it, but if you can put who are the two people, that's where the story comes in interesting. Right, the person who owned the Indian Motorcycle nowadays, it's a guy called Phil Zangi the third. It's a character. He's every year in Dortmund. I like the guy. It's always very nicely dressed, well mannered. It's a very knowledgeable guy. He's been in the industry, I think, close to 30 years. I don't think he ever been attracted by creating hypes and limited editions or launching new lines all the time. He just carry on doing Indian Motorcycle cigars since his separation from the Indian cigars back in the time. Obviously, he couldn't use the name. That's why he started working with the Indian Motorcycle, used their name. The cigars are manufactured with collaboration with them. And the other guy who was part of the company back in the time, this was Rocky Patel. Not a lot of people know probably, but he started the company as a partnership with this gentleman. And yeah, I think he separated. I don't know exactly when he separated, but it must be a few years after they start, maybe even more. And he started his own company, obviously Rocky Patel, which I think he celebrates 30 years in the industry now. He released in the 30th anniversary, so they probably start a few years before that. What's that? 1995 will be the 30th anniversary, so they most likely start 1993, 1994, maybe when the cigar boom was around. There's no clear information on that. Maybe I should have asked Phil. He will give me more insight. But yeah, this one here is a massive double Corona, big chunky Habano. They do Maduro Habano. Very ugly looking wrapper. I'll give you that. Lots of veins. But in general, those are decent cigars. So this was the first brand for tonight. The second one, it is a cigar called Isabella. Isabella came in a plastic wrapper. This is not cellophane, doesn't look like cellophane. Actually, might be a cellophane. It's tin. Isabella is a brand which I cannot tell you a lot. I will give you a very brief information. What is that? That is a cigar made in the Philippines. Most likely used Philippine, Indonesian tobacco. On the wrappers, on the band says extra mild, and that's it. I don't think is a long fill. Maybe it's a long fill. They don't do lots of machine mates nowadays, but yes, I have no information about the cigar. I try to research or anything. No one can tell me anything. Of course, when you do a Google or anything, give you another brand with the name Isabella, which is some American Miami made cigars, which I don't think is the same. I don't think I smoked this one before. I have only one cigar. One day I'll probably smoke it. I doubt it will be something very, very interesting, but we'll see. Before I move to the next one, I just remember something. I was working the last few days on the website, on the Late Smoke website. I have an idea to try to list names of brands like a catalog. The names of a brands existing, non-existing, long time discontinued, and very brief history. Not history, more of a dates of when they start, when they discontinue, when they stop existing, where they made, where they coming from. Maybe if I find logos of the companies in internet, and I'll add that to the website. It's like alphabetical list, the companies with A, B, C, etc., etc. Where sometimes when somebody is curious, oh, what's this brand? Maybe have a look on the logo and what's a very brief story on the company. Obviously, on the main and more bigger company where I can get information, I'll try to list all their different lines during the years. It will be a very long project, will take lots of time, but when I have free time, I can add a brand or two into the catalogs. I know a lot of brands, and obviously we'll spend some time on researching on some specific dates. And yeah, I was thinking to add this into the website, which is I have the idea for a little bit, and I think I know how to do it. So this one almost don't have any bitterness now. I think the procedure I did and to try to save it helped. So the cigar is back on the what was in the beginning, performing, burning actually better. It will start burning a little bit wonky on the side, but I don't know if you can see how tutti is the burn in the ash as well. You can see there's a lots of oil pockets burned through. It's not gonna focus. Let me see if I can focus somehow. There we go. The next one, it's actually part of a different portfolio, but for me, I have always separated them on a site. I don't use them. I don't put them into the original ones. So what we have here is called Isla del Sol or Isla del Sol, depending how you pronounce it. This is a cigar made by Drew Estate, but it's a completely different line. They don't put Drew Estate on the name anywhere. They don't mention anything with Drew Estate, but it is Drew Estate cigar. It's one of their flavored cigars, actually. I have never smoked this one. So this is coffee infused cigar. They says they're using some Indonesian coffee to infuse them, and Drew Estate are the specialists in infused cigars. Let me see if I can open and smell it. But yeah, I have only one of those. No idea where it came from. I usually don't buy that kind of stuff. I'll smoke it, of course, one day from curiosity. Let me see. Yeah, it smells very sweet. Doesn't smell like coffee. Smell like sweetness, like jam and stuff. So it will be interesting to see if it actually tastes like a coffee or have that one. See if I can seal it again, so I'm not gonna smell around. There we go. But yeah, I've never smoked those. They were quite popular in summer when lots of people in the social media were smoking them, but I'm not even sure are they still making them. You know, Drew Estate discontinued lots of their flavored stuff like Lara Town and some of the KFCs, and but I'm not sure about this one. Moving on to the next line, next cigars. The next one is a company called J. London. J. London, I have those two examples here. J. London is an actually English guy who, I think his name is Jonathan. That's where the J from come from. London he's a big fan of the London. He used to buy and smoke cigars in London often. So the lighter one here, the one which is very, very pale, that's the Gold series. It was a cigar when they released those few years ago. It was very hyped cigar. I know lots of people rave about them. It's one of the best, the Cuban-esque cigar closer to Cuba. I smoked a few of those. I haven't smoked different sizes, and this is a small Corona Panatella. They do even 9 inches on that one. They do a proper A size Gigantes Corona size. For me, it wasn't even close to anything Cuban, but I don't know, maybe the marketing here, they were marketed like that and people believe in that. And the other one is another fun one. This is the telephone booth. This is the number 5. They released a few different ones. And this is the purple and number 5. I haven't smoked this one. I smoked the number 4, I think, was the red one. It was okay cigar. Nothing too special. Interesting band. You know, obviously, London is UK is very famous with his telephone booths, the red booths. So Jonathan did something different. He used them in a buns. This one's called Lavender. I doubt will taste and flavor like lavender because that would be awful. But yeah, one of those very boutique brands. With I think they have the hype year or two ago. Nowadays they're not hyped that much. On the next one, it's another cigar I haven't smoked. This is a cigar called Jacobs. Never smoked this one. I remember when I bought it years ago from a sampler. I think I bought them from Smoking many years ago when I was still buying from those guys. Let me see if I can focus. As far as I know, Jacobs is actually Jakub. on his right name. Is like an in-house blend made for a shop, if I'm not wrong, in Pennsylvania. I might be different state. Never seen those for sale anywhere. It's a nice looking band. Handmade. No idea where they made. No information on that. I don't know the people behind, so no idea who to ask. But yeah, it's, who knows? It might be a phenomenal cigar, which I will want to say smoke it. I'll be like, where the hell I can find another one, or might be most of those house blends cigars usually you don't want to smoke again. So, but yeah, those are the 5 different brands today. As I promised, lots of boutique stuff, lots of unknown. Kasim was asking, is there a reason why I don't buy from smoking? Yes. I have nothing against smoking. I stopped buying cigars in general. Smoking used to be my favorite retailer in US when they were sending cigars around. I was participating in their virtual smokes and everything, but again, it's very, very tough and complicated to buy cigars from abroad nowadays, and it become way too expensive. Smoking as a people, I can highly recommend you if you're looking for if I have any problems with smoking. I never have a problems with smoking. For me, they're one of the top online retailers in the states. I mean, they have physical shops. I've never visited them, but they always been super cool, super top notch, without any issues, without any problems. I used to buy their monthly subscription pack. I somewhere I have the badge for a 1 year member and stuff like that. But again, I stopped buying cigars roughly 2 years ago, almost maybe more than 2 years ago. Now I buy cigars only if I physically visit the shop and grab a bunch of cigars. I stopped buying like before all the new releases, all the special offers and everything. It's just I don't like what the brand's doing anymore. It's not a retail's point. I can probably still find retailers which I can get some cigars from them on a decent prices, even cigar page I mentioned in the beginning. But I I probably want to say I'm doing it like a little boycott on the producers because you just can't cope with every new release. I used to be one of those guys for maybe 5 or 6 years of my past years when I was collecting and buying like crazy, where certain brands, every time they release something, I'm jumping on it. I want to buy it, I want to get it. Sometimes you can't buy one, you need to buy 5 or 10 or box. Then I share the box with friends and stuff, and it's like until the cigars arrived here, some of the brands are releasing a new one. I mean, like, let's say a month or two later, they're releasing a new one. And if I'm in the US, I mean, Epicurean is in the US, probably he can get all those new releases. But for someone abroad, paying all the taxes and shipping, and it started getting so expensive. And so many times you get this cigar just because you want to be on the hype. Hey, everyone's smoking this new cigar, I want to smoke it. Until the cigars arrive, they're not anymore hyped. So I lost the hype on there. There's no point for me posting. With just another guy post about this cigar. Jump on the bandwagon. And I just was like, why I'm doing that is addictive. But most of those releases, they're not better than other cigars. You buy them because of the brand, because of you were in a certain, at least for me, I was in a certain groups where, oh, this is my friend, bunch of my friends smoking this one. They say it's a good cigar, I want to buy it. And then you're a fanboy of. Again, I've never hid it. I always been a fanboy of the Tuaje, Black Label, Crown Heads, Dumbarton, Those kind Illusione, those kind of brands every time, and they release a lot of limited releases, regional edition releases, shop exclusives, this anniversary, that anniversary, whatever. And even Epicurious mentioned 800 plus new releases for 2025. I mean, so far, I count all the cigars I smoke every year. So far, I'm on this cigar tonight. Is my, let me have a quick look, 797 cigar this year. So I smoke 797 cigars so far. I'll probably go to about 900 usually. I haven't counted how many different this year, but it won't be that many as last year, because this year there was I've already started working with some brands and I smoke lots of their cigars. So if I want to smoke everything new, probably in a year I might be able to smoke all new cigars, but that means I can't smoke anything else. I would just don't have physical. I mean, some of you maybe smoke way more than me. That's fine, but I won't have a physical time to smoke everything new, and then that means I won't be able to smoke some of the vintages. I won't be able to revisit cigars or anything. So why would I do that? They always will be new and new releases, and nowadays, if I'm on events, if I'm on a trade shows and stuff, yeah, if I can get some cigars, some new cigars, I'll get them. And I don't usually ask for cigars. So if I pass some friends, they'll be like, hey, come over, I'll give you some cigars. They might give me some cigars. I might smoke them even the same year. I might not even smoke them yet. So, for example, from Dortmund, I don't think I smoked a cigar from Dortmund yet. And from the Intertabac, I didn't get lots of cigars this year. I get probably about 40, 50 cigars. I haven't smoked anything yet. So, yeah, I mean, Epicurean says he's probably ranked about 200 from the new releases. So, exactly, it's impossible to go on everything, all those hype and like all those fancy releases and all those one-off releases to limited companies, some associated companies with famous people, they releasing cigar. It's just impossible. So I 2 years ago, just like I decide I'm done with that. I cannot doing that anymore. I don't see the point doing it. And I still have cigars which I bought a couple of years ago and I haven't smoked them yet. So I'm already 2, 3, 4 years behind some of those releases. I haven't smoked them. And for me, when you wait more than a year after a cigar's been released, you can go two ways. Either the cigar going really incredibly better, either cigar is just going downhill, and it's not the opinion then is not relevant. I try to smoke cigars more professionally. Now put them in the website, the reviews, opinions, and if somebody asks me, hey, what do you think about this cigar, even if it's not on the review, someone can ask me, hey, you smoke this one, what do you think? I can tell them, yeah, it was good, it was bad. I'm not gonna go deeply into the flavors. I won't remember every cigar as the flavors I smoke, but I try to remember how good was the cigar. But that might not be okay opinion, because I smoked the cigar a year after the release or a year before the release. Not before the release, but or on the time of the release. So I don't know. It was very weird. Again, it wasn't easy to say no more. And now there's still releases. I've seen them. Hey, this would be nice, look nice. I read the blend. Blend looks like literally made for me. I like all those tobaccos. This blender is good. But no, I just can't be bothered anymore. Yeah, Epicurean says is weird when the brand give you cigars to try and they want the reviews as soon as possible. Well, I don't have that kind of problem. Again, nobody send me cigars here. I mean, when you mention you are in UK, we can't send cigars to abroad. So far on the reviews, again, I haven't counted exactly how many reviews I did on the website, but I think they're close to probably, I don't know, 40, 50, something like that, maybe even more. Who knows? 80. I think they're around 80. None of those cigars were given to me for reviews or anything. Everything is from my personal stuff, personal stash. So Kasim was asking me, the cigars they give me on Intertabac, are they available to purchase? Some of them yes, some of them no. Some of the cigar I didn't get so many non-release stuff. I get some new releases, but there wasn't many. I get some fancy stuff which will not be released from Carrillo, for example. Don't have even bands on them. They're just general brands they use before the release nowadays. Um, but yeah, there wasn't that many. Again, I haven't go around and just ask for cigars. Some people give me some stuff. So other people just give me whatever they smoke. They have. So mix. Amoku says you're talking with Inca. Yeah, Gennaro is a great guy. Prices are good. I don't know if you say crazy prices. I don't know what you're thinking. Is he expensive or cheap? But I think it's very cheap. It's not expensive at all. Right. I removed the second band, and the band was so heavily glued to the wrapper, it literally almost deconstruct my cigar. So I'll show you. It's not. I mean, this part of the band was so glued to the cigar, and the wrapper is quite thin, to be honest. Almost damaged it. It starts peeling off. I mean, it's a I don't know, $3 cigar, $4. Shouldn't expect miracles, but sometimes this is pissing me off. Another brand which often the bands are glued to the cigar. This is Fuente, and I don't often talk against the brands, but when you're producing an expensive, you want to be the luxurious brand. Make sure your quality control on this is on point. Almost I smoked a Fuente last Friday. What did I smoke? I smoked a Don Carlos #2. Well, it's not a cheap cigar. It's one of the hardcore, proper lines where everyone's sworn by. Again, not a budget, not an Opus. It was Don Carlos, and the band, the main band on the Don Carlos was so heavily glued to the wrapper. It's just I was using a cigar glue, so what I did, I removed the band. It cracked heavily, peel heavily, so I stopped smoking, glued the cigar, and continue about 10 minutes later. Relight the cigar and continue because I won't be able to smoke it. And it was a big chunk. It was probably 2 inches on the top where I don't want to throw it. It's usually a good piece of cigar, and it's another 40 minutes, 50 minutes for me. But it was, yeah, Fuente have a massive problem with the gluing the bands. I don't know what they're doing. The guy who put the bands, maybe it's a little bit shaky fingers. Cassini's asking me, do I do a stock take on my collection? What do you, I mean, in what relation stock take? To count them, to look at them, I mean, every time I take cigar out of the humidor for smoking, I take it out from my catalog. I have them cataloged in an app. Every time I take a cigar, I'm with my phone. I deduct 1 or 2 or whatever I'm taking. Bunch 5 or 6. But sometimes it takes time. My biggest issue is when let's say I'm going for a holiday, and I pick up 30, 40 cigars. It might take an hour to pick them out, remove them from my app, from my catalog, to know I don't have those ones. But yeah, I can tell straight away. I can open my app and I can tell you how many I have from whatever cigar you're asking or I'm interested. And I try. This year I spent a few weeks to check every single box, to tie them again. So because sometimes I have when I have the original box, I keep the original box until I finish the cigars. and they will have so many boxes with like one cigar left in a box or two, or even I don't have the original cigars. I just keep the boxes. All those boxes are filled with cigars to save space. And sometimes original box of I don't know. Let's say if I have a box of Brick House, I'll fill it with all kind of JC Newman cigars in there just to save space. So I spent a couple of weeks this year earlier when I was quite don't have much to do. Check every single box, you organize everything. So yeah, I usually don't do it because I smoke all kind of different cigars, and I can check what's the situation in the boxes. Sometimes there's a boxes which I haven't opened in a year or two, but probably in some point next year I'll do it again when I have time. I'll start from the one side to the other side. We'll open all the boxes, see whatever I have empty space to eliminate some of the boxes. There's no point keeping so many boxes with one cigars in there. Yeah. Take forever to pick cigars for trial. Yeah. What app I use? The app I use is called Cigar Scanner. I started using Cigar Scanner maybe 10 years ago. At the moment when I start, my collection started getting a little bit out of control. I think when I used to have like 500-600 cigars, it take me time to add them in the Cigar Scanner. And now every time I buy cigars, I don't put them in the humidor. They stay in this room. If I buy a box or two or whatever, they stay in this room until I catalog them and put them in the room. And now I even start putting dates on the cellophane. So, for example, this J London here, it's the one where I already start putting dates. You can see right with the Sharpie pen 2/24. So that's from February 24. It's on the cellophane. Even though I don't have a cellophane, I can put an additional sticker and put the date on. I don't know why I'm doing that. Sometimes I wonder how old it is. So now I know this J London is already a year and a half old. I mean, you can do it on Excel, but the good thing with the app, with the cigar scanner, is you can use it on your phone, and I have it on my computer. I have it on my phone. It's the same login. It's super easy to add cigars. There's a massive database. Sometimes you want to add cigar, you just find the cigar in the database, and finding the cigar in the database take you about 5 seconds. You just type, let's say, Brick House Maduro. The app will give you all the different sizes. You pick what's the size, you add it there. You can add 5, 10, 15, 100, whatever numbers you have, and they're there. And every time you take one, you can see is like stamps when you're taking out cigars and stuff. You can add flavors on the cigars. You can add anything you want. You can add pictures to the cigars even. Prices, all kind of stuff you can play around. And if you have a cigar which is not existing in the app, because lots of cigars, especially some old and rare stuff, they're not in the app. It takes you 5 seconds to add the cigar. You can literally add your own cigar. If it's not existing in the list, you just create your own, and yeah, you can add whatever you want. Yeah, my humidor, I've heard it, never use it. The cigar scanner, just go onto the cigarscanner.com. I think you can do it from there in the cigarscanner.com. I can't check on the App Store because I'm using my phone to film now, but probably you can download it from the website for your phone. I'm using Android, so I'm not sure how it would tie if you use Apple. I'm not sure about it, but on Android it's absolutely fine. Have I tried any of Septimo? Oh, I mean, Amoko, you probably not seen lots of my shows. El Septimo is probably it's one of the very few brands which I dislike openly. I will never say anything good for this brand. Maybe until they owned by the people who own it now. El Septimo used to make decent cigars before they changed ownership 5-6 years ago. Since that, I'm not a big fan of the guy who owned the brand. For me, he's a guy which have no idea what he's doing with the cigars. I mean, he might be a successful businessman and all his ventures. He keep entertaining me with his videos. I'm in a small group with people from the industry, which like cigar producers and stuff, and they keep bringing some of his videos, and we all laugh and having fun comments with the guy. As you say, pricings is crazy. I mean, I remember the very first El Septimus I smoked. A friend of mine gave me one just for a joke. Gurkha is way ahead of El Septimo. El Septimo, nobody can go there. It's different category. I know. I don't mind smoking Gurkha. To try Gurkha, I mean, I haven't found a Gurkha I want to smoke again, but I don't mind trying any new Gurkhas. El Septimo, I'm not forced anything to try from them. The first El Septimo I smoked, I think, was called the Bullet. I think it was a green band. It was something like 2.5 inch torpedo. I mean, literally that kind of size. Maybe just over, slightly longer than this one. So you cut its torpedo. Obviously, you need to cut big chunk of it, and you puff like 3 times. You need to remove the band, and then another 10-15 puffs, you start getting hot in your hands. You can't smoke it. And I don't know why they do this size. So when I was showing El Septimo, I have 2 El Septimos in my humidor, which are from the old releases, from the old times, without the cellophane, before Zaya get involved and everything. So they should be good, but they're all chunky side. Their ring gauges are like 60, 70, shorter ones. And every new El Septimo I've tried 3 different El Septimos in the last year or 2. All of them have massive construction problem. I mean, tunneling as hell, does not really can stay lit. You're relighting 20 times. It just tastes like char and ash and mess everywhere. So I say I am not in a mood to spend any money on El Septimo. If someone give me an El Septimo to try, I will probably respectfully say, okay, I'll try it. But my mindset is already very negative. I don't know what need to happen to change my mindset. Maybe the cigar need to be phenomenal, exceptional, 10 out of 10. Then I might want to try a couple more. But still, the owner of the brand is very weird guy, which I don't get along with his comments and everything. So there we go. Amoko is agreeing with me. Well, I don't know. I think the owner have involvement somehow into the blending. I don't think he's a cigar guy. He just wanna push in and this is the best, the best, the best, the best. If you smoke anything else, you don't know what to smoke. He have his followers. Fair point. I mean, I've seen him. They try to push in lots of markets. I think they have a great sales team. I know the main guy who is working with them in Europe is a great guy. He's a Belgium guy. But again, it's not my cup of tea. I'm sorry. Kasim's asked me a very interesting question. From all the cigars I smoked this year, which is my favorite? If you allow me, I will not answer you now. I mean, I already have quite a few 10 out of 10. So I score my cigars 10 out of 10, 10 up to 10. I will not tell you now. I can check literally. It will take me, I don't know, 1 minute to check. But I won't do it because next month, enter the next month, I will start revealing my top 25. And if I tell you now, the best one, you won't be surprised for the top 25. So exactly, Rubio says it's not this time of the year yet. Bear with me, trust me. I did it the last 2 years. This will be, I think, my third or fourth year when I'm doing my top 25, the best cigars I've smoked in the year. And I don't separate as a new cigars, the old cigars, everything. Everything I've smoked for a review, for blind taste, for anything which is being released, which will be released. It's not like a test blend or something like that. I score it, and I will have my top 25. I will start releasing them, I think, when aficionados start there in January. So last year I started on 2nd of January. So this year, let me see how the week will be in January. And so this year I will start revealing mine on 5th of January. It's Monday. So 5th of January in the live show, I'm gonna start with the first cigars from the top 25. And I will reveal them. And yeah, that will be, it's fun for me. Again, I love this time of the year, December. Again, it's very close to December when the people start releasing the top 25s. I will literally, most of the December, we will talk about top 25s, my opinion on the top 25 people, top 25s, and that kind of stuff. So yes, I will post them in Instagram. Yes, we'll post them in Instagram. We'll post them in the website. Actually, I will post them on the website as well. For the first time, I have a website where at the end of the things I can actually mention all the, every day I will update the list. So yeah. Amoko, he mentioned he claims to be a cigar of a kings and only royal families smoke them. He mentioned in an interview, he mentioned a story when he was just purchased the brand, and he was in some hotel somewhere in Germany, if I'm not wrong, and in the same hotel was one of the Saudi princes or royalties, and he asked him, what cigar do you smoke? He gave him a cigar, and the guy was so phenomenally, surprised by the cigar and stuff like that, and then he wants to buy every cigar he made and stuff, which I don't think is a real story. I'll tell you why. I think he bought the brand 2019, 2020. So this story must happen around that time, 2018, 19, 20. This Saudi prince, he mentioned, he publicly, and not even publicly, he stopped smoking cigars about 7-8 years before that. So I don't think this is true. He didn't smoke cigars on the time, even if he met the guy. Rubio, what kind of notifications you need from the website? I mean, I think you can subscribe for the website, and you can receive when there's a post, you can receive a notification about it. I haven't did a push notifications yet. I mean, I can start doing that, but I haven't worked exactly how I can do that. So for now, you can subscribe yourself, and then you receive notifications from every new post. I haven't started yet sending emails. Maybe I'll start that, but I need to grow a bigger audience at the moment. So, top 5 tatuaje. That's very, very interesting question. Caught me off guard. Okay, I'm not gonna say the best this year, but in general, my favorite tatuajes. Let's call it that way. Real estate guys full of shit. Tatuajes I like. I like the Reserva broadleaf. Tatuaje Reserva broadleaf, especially if you find it in Nuelas, which is a Corona. Phenomenal smoke. Cojonudo 2003 was really good. I like from the Monster series Kruger. It's from Frankenstein and Kruger are probably one of the top cigars of Tatuaje made. Phenomenal, both of them. Karlov last edition of the Monsters was really good, especially in the full size, big, long cigar. What else from Tatuaje? Those are probably some of my favorites. El Triunfador, the broadleaf one, the brown one. It's a really, really good one. Yeah, probably those will be top 5, 6. If I need to pick the best, in my opinion. L'Atelier, another one. L'Atelier, it's not technically Tatuaje. It's different branding, but it's made by Tatuaje. That's a good one. The Mexican Experiment too. Super good smoke, if you can find them. But yeah, those are my go-to Tatuajes. I did a review actually of the Nuelas Reserva Broadleaf, which was bang on. I put it in a website, I think last week or week before. I smoked it and it was so good cigar. Unfortunately, I don't have any more Nuelas. I have bigger sizes only, but La Riqueza is okay for me. I even have some very old La Riquezas from 2010, 12. Havana 6 Churchill. I don't think I smoked the Churchill, but yeah. Mexican Experiment 2 is it's a great cigar. I don't think you can find it in many places in America. In Europe, yes. I remember when I was in Austria in the summer, and the importer of Tatuaje is one of my best friends, the Austrian importer, and we did an event with him, and I go to his warehouse, and I'm walking through his warehouse, and I'm seeing Mexican Experiments, Churchills, and yeah, looking through all his stash, and I saw a couple of boxes from 2018, 2019, so I literally bought them all. It was unexpected. I need to unload some of the cigars because I literally get so many cigars from him, and I was like, I can't travel with that many cigars because they will confiscate them. So I have a decent stash with MA2 Churchills. I like this cigar. Right. Well, it's been a long chat today. I like how active you become to the end. And yeah, impossible to get in Canada. Yeah, I think it's mostly impossible to get in most of the places around the Americas. But yeah, it's fun to chat with you guys. I like when you're very active and you ask me questions. And again, don't be shy even during the show. If you want to ask a question, feel free to ask me and don't wait until the end. I have no problem to stop what I'm talking about and just tell you what you want to know. There we go. Rubio, find some churches in Düsseldorf. Rubio, are you in Germany? Tell me you're in Düsseldorf, in the cigar world. Come on. I'm going there maybe in about 2 weeks' time. So if you're in Düsseldorf or somewhere in Germany, let's meet for a smoke. Don't be shy. I will. Oh, you were there. But if you where you based? You in Germany? Next to Amsterdam. Okay. Well, for now, I'm not exactly sure which date will be the trip yet. I still confirming still because there's a small chance I might not go to the trip. I have some other commitments to do. But if the Germany tour is ongoing with me, I will be in Germany somewhere between 25th and 29th of November. The plan is to have an event in the cigar world in Düsseldorf. We're going to have a few other events in Frankfurt, in Berlin, in Hamburg. This is so far on the map. I still don't know how exactly the itinerary will look like. I'm still working with my German importer to organize the trip, but there's a 90% chance to do this trip. So if I do an event in Cigar World, please, I'm more than welcome. Stop by, come by, and we're gonna have some nice evenings. Amoko, you going to UK? Where are you going to UK? London? because I'm not very close to London, and I hate going to London. For me, this is one of the worst cities in the world. So if you go into London, most likely I will not meet you, because I'm going to London only for a cigar events. If I need to work, I need to do something. I just very rarely go to London for pleasure. But if you're around in UK in different places, maybe up north a little bit, probably I can go around and have a smoke. Oh, Manchester. Manchester is an hour away from me. Perfect. Let me know when you're going. And if I know in advance a little bit, I can organize something and I can come around and have a smoke in Manchester. There's not many places in Manchester where we can smoke, but again, I'm just an hour and a half away from Manchester, so it's not a bad journey for me. Hey, nothing wrong with London. Not for me. I'm sorry. I just don't like the everything in London. I mean, cigar scene is all right. There's plenty of lounges, shops, and everything. A little bit too picky, can look a little bit too posh and stuff in some moments, but still have lots of friends in there. But yeah, London is not for me. I'm sorry. Right, guys. I think it's been a really nice evening. Spending an hour and a half with you guys, having a conversation. I hope you enjoy the show. I hope you have a living is on 1 2 is very bad. Not even living. It's traveling today is bad. Anyway, I'm not going to talk anymore about London today. But yeah, it's been a great day, great evening. Next week will be 17th of November. Looks like I will be here. There will be another episode of The Late Smoke with another portion of news, chatting around, talking about all kind of different stuff, ranting, of course. Look at my cigar catalogs. There will be one very, very big brand we're going to talk next time, one of the most famous and well-known brands around the world. Couple of boutique ones, one very controversial, but yeah, next week will be fun. So yeah, you know the drill. Smoke your cigars. Tomorrow's never given. Don't wait. Don't waste good time with bad cigars. Keep reading the website if you read it. Keep liking pictures, stories, whatever my numphead produce. I appreciate everything. Every feedback is welcome. I will keep smoking bad cigars for you guys. And yeah, stay smoky. And I will see you all next Monday, same time, 8 p.m. UK time, same channel, The Late Smoke with me, Ray. Until then, have a wonderful week. Don't do anything stupid. I want to see you next week here. Bye-bye, guys.